We are here starting our first Building Bridges series. We're here with Chief Mike Tupper. So if this thing is one episode, it's this guy's fault. He killed it
Guilty.
from the get-go. We started this with a couple weeks ago at Restore. We were talking about the necessity to build bridges. I believe we often dress up sameness and silos, and we call it unity, when in reality it's not. Unity is different. Sameness is all about sanitizing things. Unity is messy. Sameness is about what's comfortable. Unity is about what is uncomfortable. And the next day after church, I was talking to my youngest, Xavier. We call him the Googs because he's crazy. And I said, you guys really need to be bridge builders. And he looked at me and goes, Dad, I am a bridge builder. I have two friends that are Cyclone fans. And so I thought, what better?
That's a big bridge.
It's a big bridge. So I thought, what better than to hop into the office of a guy who has Brett Favre on his wall, who broke many of my dreams as a Bear fan. But it also highlights another thing, because I figured if I was going to tell people to build bridges, I need to model that. Yeah. And one of the things in growing up is, here in Marshalltown on the north side, is police were not somebody like a lot of people I grew up with, police honor, I want to be a police officer. My home, it was very fearful.
Right.
It was something that was not connected to me. And when I came to faith in '04, started pastoring, God started doing some weird things. He didn't think that my biases were the most important things. He actually said, you know what? No, you need to get out of your comfort zone. And he started sending me police officers who were really good friends of mine.
Yeah.
People that I could talk to, people that I could engage with. And then he brought me back home, and Citizens Police Academy happened. Okay. And I was like, I'm supposed to do it. I don't want to do it, but I know I'm supposed to jump into that. Then I met you. Yeah. And with all due respect, I really like you, and I think you're a great guy.
Well, at least there's one person that really likes me.
Right. And who you are as a person really started to open up my eyes to the police work that you do, but also to this fact that maybe it's better to go past my fears and reach out, build bridges and connect. So I just wanted to invite you in because you were kind of like my personal story of jumping into that. So I'd like to know, just why did you want to become a police officer?
Yeah, it kind of happened accidentally for me. Really, I went to college and I was actually studying sociology. I thought I would be a social worker maybe. But I really went to college because I was playing football. Right. And I just wanted to continue to play football. And when my football career was over, I had to figure out what I was going to do with my life. And I realized that social workers really don't make a lot of money.
They do not.
Neither do police officers, by the way.
Nor pastors. We are not rich here.
But social workers also work in an office a lot of times. And so at the time, my younger brother, was actually studying to be a police officer. And I thought, well, that sounds like a pretty good career. And I wanted to be able to help people. Right. I wanted to be able to work with people. I was scared to death at the time, and I still am, by the way, of speaking in public.
You do a good job.
And I thought, well, you probably don't have to give many speeches as a police officer. And you wouldn't have to work in an office. Well, here we are. But
there's no windows, so you have that going for you.
Yeah. So it was just kind of by accident. I wanted to be able to work outdoors, work with people, and have an opportunity to impact my community.
Right. So what do you think, as you're in police work, what is the philosophy that drives you?
Yeah. Well, I think it's evolved over my 25 years in this career. But when I walked in the door at Marshalltown 6 years ago, the thing that we talked about is serving the public with passion and compassion. If you're not passionate about what you do in life, I don't care what line of work you're in, if you're not passionate about it, find something else to do, right? Life is short, and especially in police work, we need people who are passionate about the job and coming to work every day because it's a tough job. And then the other thing is serve the public with compassion, right? And that is definitely something that's changed for me over the years, but we have to be empathetic to the people that we're working with. And that's everybody. So, we frequently talk about in the police department of serving unto others as we would like a loved one served in a like situation. And you might find this hard to believe, but sometimes people aren't happy to see us.
I've heard
Okay,
that.
and so it's hard to be compassionate and empathetic in those situations, but we're working for the public,
Right.
and they deserve that compassion, and they deserve empathy, and we don't know what they're going through all the time, and we have to try to put ourselves in their shoes. So we have to be compassionate to the people that we're working with. And then the third thing that we talk about is leadership with a sense of urgency. Okay, and we're all leaders in the police building. You don't have to have something special on your collar to be a leader. And police work requires people to be self-starters,
Right.
and it requires people to work a lot of times without supervision.
Yeah.
And I need everybody on the police force to be a leader, just like we need everybody in our community to be
Right.
leaders.
Right.
Yeah, and there has to be a sense of urgency.
Right.
And the thing that we talk about with the police officers is, when somebody calls us and reports maybe their car got broken into,
Right.
for us, it's just another call.
Right.
We've handled a lot of those.
Mhm.
For that person, it might be the worst thing that's ever happened to them.
Right.
And so we have to be urgent in our response and compassionate in our response to make sure that they're getting the very best of us and the very best service we can give.
The what you said there with empathy, I was at Rotary and I've heard what is Trisha's rank?
Tyne, Lieutenant Trisha Tyne. Yeah.
Lieutenant Tyne was talking about, again, she was doing her presentation on negotiation. I've heard this a few times, but they use the acronym LEAP, and the second piece is empathy.
Yeah.
And I'm always marked by that. She's another person that really opened my eyes of who truly the heart and the passion behind police officers. Over your time of 25 years, what is changed? What is a lot has changed, but what has changed?
Well, I think understanding that we have to have that empathy to be successful. As a young police officer, I was a hard charger, and I thought, well, just arrest our way out of all these problems, right? And that's not how it works.
No.
And you don't solve any problems
Right.
that way. It takes a lot of partnerships in the community,
Right.
and it takes a willingness by the police officer to open up their minds and their hearts to
Right.
maybe the plight of others.
Right.
And if we're truly going to solve problems in our community, we have to understand that everybody's not like us.
Right.
Everybody hasn't had that same experiences as we have, and everybody's got their own challenges.
Right.
And so we have to open up our hearts to those folks and empathize with them and try to work with them to solve a problem.
I'm always impressed whenever I hear your heart for police work. What would you say to those? Because I think our community overall views you guys really in high esteem.
We're lucky.
What would you say to those people that have consistently been supportive of you?
Thank you. And I want to look at the camera and say that. Thank you. We're very fortunate here, Dylan, because it's not that way everywhere.
Right.
And the police officers and the people that work in this building every day, they know that we have a lot of community support, and we really appreciate that. And I think I want the public to know, I know I want the public to know that we feel that, and we appreciate everything that the public does for us. And we truly, truly do believe that it's a partnership.
Yeah.
In order, if we're going to have an effective police department, a safe community, a successful community, we all have to work together.
Yeah.
And we really appreciate the support.
My follow-up question, and this is really why I did the series, is I want you to tell me, or what would you have told me, say 10 years ago, someone who's holds you at arm's length, pretty skeptical. What if you have a camera, you have time here to be heard, to represent the MPD? What do you want to tell them?
I don't know that I would tell you or the public anything. I think it would be a good opportunity for me to listen. And the one thing that I want everybody to know, and I feel this from the bottom of my heart, is I work for you. I work for you. And it's important to me, and it's important to the people in this building, that we understand what the public needs from us. And when people are unhappy with something that we've done, let's talk about that. I think that's important. Sometimes people want to keep us at arm's length because they've had a bad experience. And, I can't change that,
Right.
but we can talk about why the experience was bad.
Right.
And then the other thing I do remind people is that it's human beings that are wearing this uniform,
Right.
right? So we make mistakes.
Yeah.
And we have bad days, we have good days, and sometimes things don't go as we would plan. So what I want the public here to know is that we're open to your criticism.
Mm-hmm.
We're open to your thoughts and input. I didn't grow up here.
Yeah.
I have a lot of ideas about what I think our community needs or what we need to do to make it a safe community. But my ideas a lot of times are irrelevant. What's important is what the public thinks.
Yeah.
And we really need that input and we need that conversation. So I don't know that I would tell you a lot of things. I would try to open up and just ask you why you feel the way you do.
I'm going to tell you what I would have told me 10 years ago. In knowing Chief Tupper, this is what I know through him. There is not a corner of this community that he does not care about. There is not a corner of this community that he does not want to serve. There is not a socioeconomic class that he does not want to serve. When I talk to him, it is the things that he says that makes me think that this police work and what they're doing is incredibly important. He's opened my eyes to new friendships, new people, and getting past my own biases. So as a community, as a church, we are incredibly blessed to have the MPD here.
Thank you.
And finally, how can Restore serve MPD?
Well, we need your involvement. We need everybody in this community to open up their arms to public safety, which I think a lot of folks have, quite frankly. But we need your involvement, and we need you to, when we have a Citizens Academy, get involved.
Yeah.
Right? Look, get to know some of the police officers working here. I truly believe that if you know somebody that works in this building, when you need help, or more importantly, when you have something that might help us, you're willing to call because you know somebody by first name. Pray for us.
Yeah.
It's a challenging job.
Yeah.
It's a tough job, and we need your prayers. Just remember that this police department belongs to you.
Right.
It's your police department. And in order for us to be successful, we need your input.
And I'm actually going to take stuff off his walls because I own this now. So the Favre is going into the garbage.
I want to share this. See what it says? Today has eternal consequences.
That is true.
Right? And so a lot of people, this is sitting on my desk. First thing you might see when you walk in. A lot of people think I'm trying to send you a message. No, I'm sending myself a message every day, right? So that hopefully reminds me to be on my A game every day and do what God would have me do so that we can serve the public with passion and compassion.
I greatly appreciate this.
Thank you.
And hopefully Chief Tupper didn't kill this thing. We'll see you next